Hi guys, so I'm gonna read Action Comics number 500. So this was a request. It was one of the ideas for the 500 subscriber special, but I'm gonna read this. I'm gonna read it anyways. It's gonna take multiple parts to do because this comic's really long. But 68 pages, no ads from cover to cover. Big 500th issue. Superman starring in Action Comics. Superman, this is your life story. And Andrew and Giordano. And there's a bunch of like Superman covers in the background. From like this one's like from the 60s or 50s, and this one's from the 70s. If I can see him. That one's like from the 40s, I think. That looks like it's from the 40s. Yeah, it was like it was Nazis shooting them. So, and that's the first appearance of Superman right there. It's Action Comics number 1. So it's very interesting cover. For prologue. Faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive, able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Everyone knows the legend, everyone knows the scene. The crowd that lifts its collective eyes to the sky at the distinctive whine of rushing wind and calls out, "Look up in the sky! It's a bird! It's a plane! It's Superman!" But what do we really know about the Man of Steel? To many, the man behind the myth remains shrouded in mystery. But now the mystique can be stripped away. Now it can be told, a saga like no other. The life story of Superman, created by Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster, as chronicled by Martin Pasco, writer, Kurt Swan and Frank Chiaramonte, artists, Gaspar Saladino, letterer, Adrien Roy, I think it's Roy or Roy. I'm pretty sure it's Roy if it's French. Colorist. Julius Swartz, editor. Metropolis, at the city limits. The signs tell you you're entering the home of Superman. They're proud of him here, proud and grateful, and with good reason. Of all the cities on his adopted planet, this one is closest to his heart. That love is about to be repaid in kind. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the opening of the Superman Pavilion of the Metropolis World's Fair. And what better guide for the first tour of the pavilion than Superman himself? Hooray! Glad to be here, Mayor Harkness, especially since it's for such a good cause. In exchange for my help in preparing the pavilion's exhibits, the man who runs the pavilion will contribute $1 million from the gate receipts to my favorite charity. And now, Superman, I'd like to introduce you to that man, the famous entrepreneur, J. Robert Arngrim. Superman, it is an honor and a privilege. Shutters click, TV cameras roll, and Superman squirms uncomfortably. He's honored, but also a bit embarrassed by the adulation of the crowd, among whom are his closest friends, Daily Planet staffers Lois Lane and Jimmy Olsen, editor Perry White, WGBS TV sportscaster Steve Lombard, and Superman's boyhood girlfriend from Smallville, Lana Lang, who also co-anchors the WGBS Evening News with the Man of Steel's alter ego, Clark Kent. So when this comic was made in like the 70s, Superman was a news anchor instead of a news reporter. He was a news anchor. I think in some versions they still do that, like in the Lego games, like they still has Superman as a news anchor. But Clark sure picked the wrong time to take a vacation, Lana. Oh, I'm sure he'll show up anyway. Love, sooner or later. Finally, the gushy preliminaries are over. Now, with his heat vision, Superman will cut the ribbon. A ribbon of steel, 6 inches thick. Ladies and gentlemen, please have your tickets ready. If you'll follow Superman inside, the tour will begin. Where's Mr. Arngrim? Right here, Superman. I had some last-minute preparations to attend to. But I'll be with you from here on in. I wouldn't miss this for the world. Fine. Let's start here, in the Krypton exhibit. Krypton, of course, was my native planet. Oh, wow, heavy duty. It must have been some place, huh, Superman? I mean, when you were sent here in a rocket, when Krypton blew up, right? But I heard you got a super memory. You know, Total Recall? So what was it like, Krypton and all? True, I do have a total recall, but repeated exposure to kryptonite over the years has caused gaps in my memory. My early life on Krypton is almost total blank to me. But you do have this, your mind probo ray. Yes, as a boy I invented it to retrieve long-buried memories from my subconscious. Since you were good enough to bring the mind prober from your fortress to be placed on exhibit here, perhaps you could demonstrate it for us. Well, It would be such a thrill to hear an eyewitness account of life on Krypton. Yes, Superman, please, just this once? Oh, well, all right. At that moment, as in an as yet unknown elsewhere, I'm gonna give like a spoiler. I think this is Lex Luthor talking, I'm not entirely sure who it is, but I think it's Lex Luthor. Finally, Superman has tripped a relay switch by sitting in the chair, and Armgrim has strapped him into the mind prober. This must be timed perfectly. I won't get another chance to tap into Superman's memory bank. Who is this, and what is he doing? Those questions must, for the moment, go unanswered. As meanwhile, beneath the intense probing of the uncanny ray, I can see it, as clearly as if I were there. Krypton! Oh, one of the home of the most advanced culture in the galaxy. It is revolved around a giant red sun in a distant star system. Vivid images of life in this highly sophisticated civilization. Chapter 1, Planet on the Edge of Oblivion. I forgot to read that. Bloom inside Superman's head. Images mined from some deep and untapped lode of memory. I'm in Kryptonopolis, the city of my birth. I can see my father's house. And I'm with my mother, Lara. I can't be more than 2 years old. And I'm upset about something. In fact, we both are. Wah, wah! Shh, little one, shh. Your father will be home soon. Unfortunately, if he does return early, it will mean it cannot have gone well. As a child, I couldn't comprehend what she was saying, but now looking back at it all, it's all perfectly clear. This time, if the council refuses to heed him, there is little hope. Still, a man like Jor-El does not surrender to despair, though I fear he is condemned to naught but ridicule. I know he will never abandon hope. I remember them now, the ground quakes. The way the ground would tremble with a deafening roar, how the windows would shatter so suddenly. It would terrify me like nothing else I've ever experienced. Mama, Mama! Hush, Kal-El. You are safe. Now it is over. But how many more must there be? How many more lives must be lost before the council will take my husband seriously? Must we all die first? Perhaps, good wife. Jor-El, how fared you? Badly, I fear. It was my last attempt. Now we can look only to ourselves for our salvation. I tried to convince the council. Rao knows I tried, but they accept nothing that does not come from their own instruments. They will not hear the land as I do. I recall it now, how I desperately struggled to understand, as my father, such a great man, so proud, so big in my eyes, told of how he has been belittled. For the 4th time in as many Kryptonian months, he had gone before the ruling Science Council. Again, El? Again you come to us with your prophecy of doom? Please, you must read my report, the statistics, the findings of years of research. I tell you, our time draws nigh. Krypton is doomed. Krypton's core is unstable. It is soon to reach critical mass, and the resultant pressures from within the interior will tear our world asunder. And what do you propose to do about this? You know my proposal. You've ignored it repeatedly. A fleet of space arcs to carry the populace to another planet, to escape the destruction of Krypton. Well, it is deeply distressing that you, one of Krypton's most distinguished scientists, a member of this council, should come to us thus. You would have us believe that our world is at end, when the geophysical clock projects Krypton's continued survival for so many centuries. I swear to you, the clock cannot be trusted. Your achievements, the discovery of the Phantom Zone, pioneering our now abandoned space program, these are all well known to us. But even we cannot defer to even your record in this preposterous fantasy. To be frank, these notions of yours are madness, the ravings of a paranoid, and we will suffer your delusions no longer. Begone! Now my father has finished his account.
Then no one but me believes in your theory? Not even your brother, Zor-El?
No, and when the time comes, beloved, we three alone will survive. But that was not to be. Not that my father didn't try to save Krypton. In fact, his determination never wavered. In the months that followed, he worked feverishly to build that space fleet. I'm going back now, to a day not long before the end came. They're taking him away from me. No, Mama, no, take Krypto, no, take Krypto!
Do not cry, my son. Your puppy will return.
He's merely going on a little trip to test this rocket for Papa. But he won't come back, I know it. Even though I'm only a child, somehow I know that Krypto will never return. By the twin moons, Krypto's rocket has been struck by a meteor and knocked out of orbit. How unfortunate. An accident, for I cannot bring Krypto back. I am sorry, my son. As the scene is relived in Superman's mind, as he experiences the moment exactly as he lived it, a baby who looks astonishingly like the baby Kal-El seems to share the experience in this underground laboratory. Here the scenes from Superman's past are also relived by a child who, judging from his looks, could be Superman's younger brother, or perhaps, in a strange, sinister way, his son. Excellent, it's working. According to my Ingram monitor, Superman is recalling his early days on Krypton, and the recollections are being fed into the child's mind, intact. While in the pavilion above, now my memories of skipping ahead, the scene is shifted to a time several months later, and, yes, go on. Now the shaking is quaking again, or ground is quaking again. It is time now. I can hear the screams of other people outside my window. Krypton is coming apart. I'm in my mother's arms, and they're trembling.
Jor, is it?
I fear so, beloved. Come, bring the child.
The last test ship?
Yes, it is the only hope for you and our son. However, I cannot be certain it will reach its destination. And what effect the weight of an adult will have on the trajectory, I cannot predict.
Then I will remain here, alone. Our baby will have a better chance.
Lara, I cannot permit.
Please, my husband, no more. I shall be at your side, beloved, now and forever.
They're putting me into the rocket.
Mama, Papa, please don't leave me.
The rocket is lifting off. I can see the ground below me, breaking apart, and the ceiling of my father's lab. It's, oh God, it's falling on them.
Goodbye, my son.
May fortune bless you on your journey, and Godspeed. And I'm leaving them alone. I can't see them anymore, and I'll never see them again. They're dead. No!
Maybe this was a bad idea.
No, I'll be all right. I guess you folks just got a more dramatic eyewitness account than you bargained for, that's all. What's next, Mr. Arngrim? The Superboy room? That's right, Superman. You'll notice, ladies and gentlemen, that the Superboy room is smaller, with fewer exhibits. Sorry, but it had to be that way. More detailed information about my formative years might give away my secret identity, but I can tell you this. So Chapter 2, okay, I'll read this part 2. So Chapter 2, A Legend is Born. Jor-El's last experimental rocket was more successful than the one containing Krypto. It cleared Krypton's atmosphere as the planet shuddered and died beneath it. And thanks to the warp drive my father had developed, the ship eventually made its way to another solar system, and to the planet Earth, where my rocket was found by an Earth couple who raised me as their son, and taught me the ways of Earth people, and encouraged me to use my powers for good. So Smallville Sentinel, Boy of Steel aids Law,
Daily Planet, youth with superpowers emerges in Smallville. Gotham Gazette, Superboy pledges to protect Earth. And that's really all I can tell you about how I grew up, without revealing that I'm secretly Clark Kent, that is. But I can't help remembering. Especially when he was surrounded by so many relics of the past. They come unbidden, the memories, and instantly he is preoccupied with a dim recollection, growing ever stronger in his mind. The recollection of his first contact on Earth. A recollection now being shared with the mysterious child in the laboratory beneath him, who reenacts the scene being played out in Superman's memory, not only mentally but now physically as well, inside a prop rocket on an Earth set. While overhead, Superman is deep in a reverie of reminiscence. I remember the rocket coming to Earth, and then I crashed. The rocket wasn't damaged, and I wasn't even scratched. Under the influence of Earth's environment, I and everything else from Krypton that came with me was already invulnerable. I was thrown out of the rocket by a force of impact, and in the next second the rocket exploded. It was only the combustion of its fuel, which had also become super, that I was able to shatter the rocket into fragments. Boom! Tarnation! What was that? It looks as though it was one of them newfangled rockets. Maybe there was something inside it. Jonathan, for heaven's sake, be careful. What? What a spill. Jonathan, do you hear something? Sounds like a baby crying. Well, glory be. Martha, come quickly. Danged if there ain't a baby over here just like you said. Land's sakes, and a boy, too. Ain't he the cutest little Dickens? Sure is, but I declare it is a disgrace. Imagine the government using human babies to test their missiles and whatnot. I don't know what the world's coming to. No, Martha, I don't think Uncle Sam had anything to do with this. Ain't a human child alive who could go through what this baby did with nary a scratch. You mean you think you came from out there? I reckon so. But that's incredible. Still, what you said makes sense. Him being unharmed. But Jonathan, if he is from some other world, what is to become of him? Unless we raise him ourselves, as the child we could never have. Think of it, it's like a blessing from heaven. Martha Clark Kent, I'm surprised at you. We can't just take him for corn's sake. What would we tell people? Wait, maybe there is a way. So after hiding the wreckage of the rocket on their farm, the Kents drove into Smallville and left me on the steps of the county orphanage. Just so's it's not too suspicious. We'll wait a couple of days before decline to adopt him. I just pray no one beats us to it. But of course no one did. Goodbye and good luck. Don't you worry, we'll be good parents to the boy. We love little Clark already, and we'll raise him with patience and understanding. They were patient and understanding, all right. They had to be, considering the surprises in store for them. Jumpin' Jehovah-Shat! That angry bull butted Clark, and he didn't even budge. And now he's uprooting a tree stump with his bare hands. It's incredible, but obviously Clark is no ordinary little boy. I see ring you lost, Mommy, in closet. How, son? Unless you can see through things. In time, my parents learned all my superpowers. Run faster than a pickup truck, super speed. Chase bird in air, flying power. Gazed at frozen lake and thought it, heat vision. Watched movie in next county, telescopic vision. No doubt about it, Martha. Our son is definitely a super baby. Having such a gifted son was not without its frustrations, though. Clark, how many times must I tell you not to ride your tricycle at super speed? That's the third place suit you burned up from air friction this week. But one day, when a freak bolt of lightning struck a fire in our attic, look, Clark blew out the fire with his super breath, and those blankets, they ain't even singed. Realizing that the blankets were those in which I'd been wrapped when they found me in my father's rocket, Ma and Pa tested a theory. Amazing. The yellow blanket won't rip. And the shotgun blast just bounces off the red one. I exploded dynamite under the blue blanket and it ain't damaged neither. After a series of exhaustive tests, my folks concluded that all the blankets were equally as indestructible as their son. So, though there's no way to cut this strange knit material, it can't be unraveled. Or it can be unraveled. But after knitting a special garment for me, Ma discovered there was only one way to sever it from the rest of the yarn, with my heat vision. The result, a super playsuit that I could stand up to any punishment I could dish out. My parents thought it was best to keep my superpowers a secret while I was growing up. They were determined I'd have a normal childhood, despite my uniqueness. For example, when they sold their farm and moved into downtown Smallville to open a general store, I began to work in the store part-time to earn my spending money, just like any other boy. And also, just like the average American boy, I had heart-to-heart chats with my father. Only mine were unique. Dad, you taught me that one day I should use my powers to help people and be a super-powered policeman. I think I'm old enough to start doing that now. But I'll need a uniform so people won't recognize me right away. It'll have to be indestructible, too. So I unraveled my baby suit, and Ma made me this. But I wasn't completely satisfied with the costume I designed. My new outfit needs a belt and boots, but it's taken me days to figure out what to make out of them. Now I finally have the answer. The seatbelt that had strapped me into the rocket became the belt of my costume. The upholstery of the recliner in the passenger compartment provided material for my boots, which I stitched together from a super needle made from a sliver of metal from the rocket. And then Pa designed an insignia, a stylized S to stand for my professional name. Superboy. I remember how proud I was when the big day finally came. Today I begin my new career as Superboy. And like all of Superman's recollections, this one too is shared by a mysterious double in an underground laboratory. It has been less than an hour since Kal-El's fight from Krypton was reenacted by his infant double, so this look-alike cannot possibly be that baby. This double, now strolling through a life-size mock-up of Smallville, here in the underground lab, cannot be the same child grown into adolescence in mere minutes. Or can it? In any event, the strange Superboy is, as yet unknown to the Superman, several feet above. Because I was careful to keep my powers secret up until then, I hadn't flown extensively. So flight was the last power I had to learn to control. That's it. Think of your hands as, ailerons and your feet as flaps. I think I'm getting the hang of it, Dad. Soon as I made my debut as Superboy, and the whole world learned of my existence. What? A flying boy in some kind of costume? That can't be. Am I missing? Or are them bullets bouncing off him? But there was one thing that remained a secret. The fact that Superboy was privately a teenager named Clark Kent. My everyday public identity can't be known. If criminals knew who I was, they'd get their revenge against me by striking at you. Watch these. I'll wear glasses as Clark and shump my shoulders, compressing my spine, so Clark will seem shorter than Superboy. But you need more than a disguise, son. As Clark, you'll have to play the part, as if you were an actor. Make Clark everything Superboy ain't. Weak, timid. In fact, you should disguise your voice when you're Clark, making it higher than Superboy's. And so my Clark Kent act was born, and it seemed to work well, except for one small problem. Holy smoke! It never occurred to me that my heat vision would melt the lenses of my glasses. But I had a hunch I could correct that. Talk about luck. When my rocket exploded, the plexiglass window shattered, and a few fairly round pieces were formed. I'll create frames which will conceal the uneven edges of these lenses. I'll have super glasses which can withstand my vision powers. Other measures had to be taken to preserve my dual identity, like a secret tunnel leading from the Kent's house to the woods outside Smallville, so that no one would see Superboy flying to or from the house. And not even I could be at two places at once, so I constructed a series of Superboy robots, who could duplicate all my powers and act as me when Superboy was needed and I was busy elsewhere. The robots were also useful in helping to preserve my double identity, since they could appear as Clark and Superman. What's this? Oh, okay, that's some guy's talk. Okay, that's kryptonite, son. To protect me from it, it's kept behind lead glass for exhibition purposes. That's the stuff that can hurt you. You're right. One day when I was still a boy, I got very sick, and my adoptive parents became very worried. Nothing like that had ever happened before. My parents conducted a series of tests to discover what the matter was, and finally, Jonathan, I think it's this glowing green rock you found for Clark's mineral collection that's causing it. When I took it out of the room, Clark said he felt better. I had my robots examine the rock, and it was unlike any other known Earth element. On the basis of its radioactivity, atomic number, and weight, I concluded that it had been a fragment of Krypton. It had been rendered radioactive in the explosion that destroyed my planet, and in time fell to Earth. Harmless to Earth people, its radiations are lethal to Kryptonians. It seems like an awful lot of Krypton wound up on Earth. Judging by how much kryptonite you've encountered, why didn't more of it get dispersed throughout the universe? For years I wondered about that myself. The warp drive of my father's experimental rocket was an untested prototype. My theory is that it was imperfect, and in carrying me to Earth, the ship opened up a space warp between Earth's solar system and Krypton's. And all that kryptonite, as well as a horde of Kryptonian artifacts, came to Earth, because they were drawn through the warp. Yeah, that's a really cool idea, actually. There's a lot of really cool ideas in this story. I don't know, they should use it in any new Superman stuff they make. They should use ideas from this comic, because the space, like the hole in the universe, like that's a cool, like how kryptonite got to Earth. That's a cool idea. But over the years I discovered things like this cache of Kryptonian weapons and the Phantom Zone ray projector. It had been shot into space by my father, and because of that, Krypton's explosion didn't turn it into kryptonite. The Phantom Zone is an other-dimensional world in which Krypton's most dangerous criminals were exiled. In the zone they exist, and still exist, as formless wraiths, unable to affect the universe we live in. From the Phantom Zone, these exiled criminals can see and hear everything that happens in our world, but cannot be seen or heard. From my studies of the Phantom Zone ray and projector, and the other Kryptonian artifacts, I gleaned a knowledge of Kryptonian technology that enabled me to construct the Mind Prober ray. With the Mind Prober fleshing out my conscious memories of Krypton, I developed a clearer picture of my birthplace, which in turn enabled me to form a theory about the origin of my superpowers. My muscles, like all Kryptonians, are different from Earthers. It is a product of my species' evolution on a giant planet, whose gravitational pull was several times stronger than Earth's. The lighter gravity of Earth, in combination with the effects of other environmental differences, produced superpowered muscles, giving me super strength, super speed, super lungs, and an anti-gravity capability that enables me to fly. Click, click. Solar energy affects human development here on Earth. For example, all of you absorb vitamin D from the rays of the Earth's yellow sun. Similarly, my physiology was conditioned by Krypton's red sun. But under the yellow sun rays, which are comparatively more intense, I became super energized. My body became invulnerable, and my brain was sharpened to the point where I possessed a super memory. My sensory receptors were made more acute too, so that my eyes perceive many bands of the spectrum invisible to normal men, and can even emit certain rays. And my ears can hear sounds beyond Earth's people's hearing range. All of which made me realize I was unique. Or I was, until the rocket containing crypto eventually fell to Earth. And of course my dog developed superpowers too. Betcha that was a real bummer. I mean, you weren't so special anymore, were you? No, but I was grateful for that. Before crypto arrived, I was kind of, lonely. Lonely? You had your adoptive parents. I'm sure they loved you. And what about your friends like me? Didn't we count? Of course, Lana, Lois, but I'm talking about something else. A different kind of loneliness. The loneliness that comes from thinking you're the only one of your kind in the entire universe. But when Krypto's rocket landed, all that changed. In the years I was growing up, learning about my life becoming a man, there were things I could share with him. Things I desperately needed to share. Or the pain of being alone would have been too great. Ma and Pa, my friends, wouldn't have understood. It's difficult to explain. They were little things. They may not seem so important to you. Things like the feeling of the wind on your face, in a way no one else in the world can feel it. Or the sound bullets make when they bounce off living flesh. Choo, choo, choo. Oh, shit. Sorry about that. And it didn't matter that we couldn't talk, at least not the way people do to each other, because we could communicate in our own special way. Though these shared experiences that were ours and ours alone. He was a dog. Only a dog. But in some ways, he was a closer friend to me than any other person on Earth. Where is he today, Superman? Off in space somewhere, I imagine. The whole universe is like a playground to him, you know. Imagine him getting choked up over a dog. Ridiculous. Honest, Lana, sometimes you have the sensitivity of a brick. Don't you understand? It's not just Krypto. It's everything. Everything in this room reminds him of Smallville, being Superboy. He's told me that those were the happiest days of his life. But they're gone now, Lana. And not just in the way that childhood is over when you grow up either. Something terrible has happened. He won't tell me what, but I know it ended a happiness he could never recapture. Oh, Lois, my darling Lois. You know me so well that it almost frightens me sometimes. You're right. A chapter of my life is closed. Ma and Pa Kent, while in their late 50s, had undergone an amazing transformation when they drank from a well that had been polluted with an alien rejuvenation serum. But one day, during the summer following my graduation from high school, wrinkles, more and more appearing each day. I reckon that serum is wearing off. We should have known the fountain of youth effect was too good to last. And about a month later, after my parents and I returned from a vacation in the Caribbean, the Kents fell ill. It's bad, Clark. Very bad. They're too sick to be moved to a hospital. What's wrong with them, Doctor? I don't know what it is. It resembles scarlet fever, but it's something else. Sulfa drugs, steroids. I tried everything I know, but they're not responding. I tried to find the cause of the mysterious disease they contracted, and failed. I did everything I could to save them, but cruel fate thwarted me at every turn. Ma, Dad, I've been all over the universe to find a cure for you, but nothing I found seems to be working. Within the week, Ma passed away, and then Dad lay on his deathbed. Dad, oh Dad, I'm so sorry. Don't torture yourself, son. You did everything you could. Clark, I have to talk to you, before it's too late. You gotta go on, son. You gotta keep using that tremendous gifts for good. You're Superman now. You can do things, even greater things, for the world. Oh yeah, I'm a Superman, all right. I saved millions all over Earth. But now the people I love most in the world are slipping away from me. And I can't do a thing to stop it. In the name of God, what kind of Superman is that? Please, son, don't. Dad! Dad, don't leave me again. Please, not again. Oh, God, not. First you're Helen Lara, and now you. Why? It's as if everything I touch dies. It's as if I doom everyone I love just by loving them. No, I won't think like that. Forgive me, Mom and Dad. I've been a sorry testament to every value you tried to teach me. You taught me never to have time for self-pity. You taught me to be strong as in my heart as I am in my body. You taught me to go on, and I will. I'll do the work you raised me to do. I'll do all the things you wanted me to be. I promise you. That night I bid farewell to Smallville and met a gala bon voyage party. So it was farewell, Superboy, we'll never forget you. But there was no crowd cheering Clark Kent when later he took the next bus to Metropolis alone. Superman, we're waiting. Oh, forgive me, I must have got lost in thought. I guess that's to be expected in a place like this. I almost feel like a spinster digging through her hope chest. But I'll try not to get wrapped in my own nostalgia again. Now, if you folks will just follow me to the Superman room, where we'll begin the next part of our tour. This room covers the next phase of Metropolis Marvel's career, up to the present. So that's gonna be the end. I'm gonna do part 2 next time. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. If you could like, comment, and subscribe, that'd be appreciated. Thank you all again for 500 subscribers. Yeah, thank you all for watching. I'll see you guys later.